paragraph and page?
Motion to
If
approve.
none, is there a motion to approve?
Second.
Okay, motion and second made. I think Ann got that. Second, to consider and act upon the minutes
Oh,
of the April 2020. Oh, yeah, all in favor.
aye.
Aye.
Okay, unanimous, thank you. To consider and act upon the minutes of the April 23rd, 2020 special meeting of the Board of Selectmen. Was the one regarding the, okay. Motion made,
Second,
second by Carangelo. All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Okay. Okay, item number 1 is to consider and act on determining whether an in-person town meeting and referendum can be held in a way that significantly reduces the risk of transmission of COVID-19 in accordance with Executive Order Number 7S, Section 7. And now I see Attorney Marino is on. So, Vin, do you want to handle that, or do you want me to handle that?
I think you can handle it, Mr. First Selectman.
Gee, thanks.
I'm happy to handle it. You have an email from Dr. Amir Mohammed. I have
Yep.
reached out to him and asked him the question as to whether or not there, in his opinion, there's any reasonable way that the town could hold the town meeting and the referendum without the risk of spreading the COVID virus. And he issued an opinion, which you should all have in your package by way of email, that says no, in his opinion, there is not.
Right. So that will lead to further down the agenda.
Right.
So,
Unless someone here, I mean, it's ultimately your decision, not Dr. Amir's decision, not Dr. Mohammed's decision, but.
no, it's his,
Well, it's his advisement, but you have to make the finding that whether or not there is or isn't. I think based on your expert's opinion, you should make the finding that there is none, but ultimately is your decision.
that's correct. I did hear from several, it was interesting, family members of poll workers and poll workers that absolutely did not want to participate in sitting at the polls and meeting people and dealing with this. I did get some commentary from some of the people that sit there when we all go in and show our licenses on this one. I only had, like I said, one person today who called who would like a referendum. I think we would all like a referendum, but only one call that I had gotten requesting that. I don't know, did Finance Director, did you get any calls or comments for that?
I only had probably the same call you had of the person upset that we're not having a referendum.
Okay. So with that said, I guess, is there a motion? I got to think how are you going to consider an act on determining whether an in-person town meeting and referendum can be held.
I would say.
I guess the motion could be one word. The motion could be, the answer is no.
It'd be a motion finding that there is no way to hold an in-person town meeting or referendum.
So moved.
All right.
Second.
Motion made by, who was that, John? Carangelo made it, Margaret seconded it. Okay, any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Okay. Item number 2, to consider and act on canceling the town meeting scheduled for May 13th, 2020 in accordance with Executive Order 7S, Section 7, kind of follows question 1, really. So is there a motion to cancel that town meeting?
Motion,
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
aye.
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 Unanimous. Okay. Item 3, to consider an act on canceling the referendum scheduled for May 20th, 2020, in accordance with Executive Order Number 7S, Section 7.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mitch, second by Judy. Any discussion?
John made the motion.
Hearing none. Oh, John did?
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, unanimous. Item 4, to consider and act on the request to authorize the first selectman on behalf of the Board of Selectmen to execute a resolution of Board of Selectmen in accordance with Executive Order Number 7I, Section 13. You should all have that 2-page document, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. Is there a motion made to allow for that?
So moved.
Ralph and John, I think. Okay. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Unanimous. Thank you.
Jim, just so people who are watching knows what that resolution was, it was one of the executive orders of the governor authorized the legislative authority of the town to empower the budget-making authority, which in our town is the Board of Finance, to adopt the budget in lieu of a referendum because of the COVID pandemic. And that's what that resolution so authorized.
And at this time, I will, yeah, Mitchell?
Yeah, just, I know we already passed the resolution, but just a question for, mostly for the audience. At what point, I don't believe there's a date on here. So is there a specific date that the Board of Finance is expected to pass that budget and to set a mill rate and time to get tax bills out?
I believe John's on the line,
Yeah.
but I believe it's May 18th.
Yes, I
Yes,
said
is.
that. I did that in the announcements, Mitch. I said that the meeting is May 18th. Anybody with any more questions or concerns can email, mail, or call in the first selectman's office or the finance office up until noon on the 18th. If they have any concerns, the budget went online yesterday morning, I think, John, right?
Monday morning.
Was it Monday morning? Wow, time
Monday
flies.
morning.
Okay, so the budget is out there.
Okay, no, that's
and,
fine. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you for repeating that. And it just wasn't in the actual resolution. That's fine.
Yes. So again, for any of you out there concerned with the budget and you have questions, you can look at it online on the Town of Orange website. You can call the First Selectman's office or the Finance office with any questions or concerns, or you can email us. Emails are readily available on the website also. Thank you.
Okay.
Item 5, this is a yearly, to consider and act on the request to conduct a public hearing at the June 10th, 2020 Board of Selectmen meeting regarding the Neighborhood Assistance Act submitted by Southern Connecticut Hebrew School Academy. It's the standard one that we do yearly for them. There's never been any problems with it, and the state does check in with us on that. So it's been a good program for New Haven Hebrew Day. Is there a motion? Oh, no, just a motion to send it to public hearing next month, made by John Carangelo. Is there a second?
Second.
Ralph, Margaret, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Very good. We're gonna, yeah, that's interesting. The rabbi is gonna have a distanced wedding up at the fairgrounds for his daughter. She was supposed to have a big wedding on sometime in the beginning of June. Now it's gonna be Tuesday afternoon, June 9th. They're having a small gathering of family and friends, and there's enough room up there that they can distance around the gazebo
Nice.
for their event. The girls' big event got canceled due to the virus, and so they called me. They wanted some other arrangements, and I said, absolutely not. I said, the girl is getting her wedding. It needs to be a little bit more special than what you're planning, and so we're working with them in social distancing, and I've spoken with the health director, and we'll make it work so that they can have a wedding up there, at least so their family and friends can be distanced, but around them.
Good.
Let's see. Item number 6 is to consider an act on the request of the finance director to increase the special duty rates. I think the reason for that was the contract changes and all. John, was that correct?
Yes, there's gonna be a tentative contract coming before you, changes the special duty rates on July 1. This, from my knowledge, this hasn't been, updated in quite a few years, at least since before I came. So these would be the new rates I propose as of July 1, 2020, and then again on, June 30th, 2022.
Okay, any other questions for Finance Director Cifarelli?
No, looks
Seeing
good.
none, is there
So
a
moved.
motion made by John? Second
Second.
by Judy. Okay. Any other discussion on this? All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Okay, unanimous.
Good job, John.
Thank you.
Item number 7. The Finance Director and Audrey have been working on this for quite a while, and I commend him for putting this one together. This has been a challenge. To consider an act on the request from Finance Director to enter into an agreement with Lockton as the Town of Orange Health Insurance Consultant. John and Audrey had to work on this, gather a lot of information and all. We've been with the company for quite a few years, since probably before I was here. And then that company sold out to another company. And we've had some moments, is what I can say there. And we needed to have fresh eyes looking at things. We're facing a significant increase in health insurance costs and all. And so John did some legwork with some other companies, and this has been their choice to go with this Lockton company. I guess they're a very large operation that handles this stuff. Any questions for Finance Director?
Good.
Mitchell?
Yeah, not really a question, a comment. It's just that I think John did an excellent job on this. I have not had Lockton as as our in Guilford health consultant at this time or before, but I'm very familiar with the principles that John's gonna be working with. Both Lisa Daly and Deb Testa have both worked with the Town of Orange previously under a long time ago when they worked for Anthem separately. And they are both very knowledgeable. I've seen them both give demonstrations and actually work with Lisa Daly when she was with a different company. And they're both very, very personable, knowledgeable, provide a number of webinars and other information sessions that I think the Town of Orange will be very privileged to have. So I would make the motion to approve Lockton.
Good. Second?
Motion made, second by Judy and John. Mitchell, you have an amazing memory. They had to remind me on one of our phone calls. So you're good. Very good. Yes, they're very good people. So I hope that we get some results out of them. All
I
in
think we
favor?
Before you,
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Staying unanimous. John, you want to say something?
yeah, thank you, Mitchell. One of the things they've already helped us on that we didn't know about, and then I need to talk to you about, there's a big class action lawsuit on the opioids with that pharmaceutical company. And apparently cities and towns are eligible to participate in that, they told me. I'm going to find out some more about it tomorrow, but they said maybe your town council might be interested in working on that also.
Yeah, I believe a while back, two firms in the state of Connecticut were handling the class actions for the several municipalities. And I have a recollection that maybe one of them had approached us. The amount of money that would be distributable, I believe, is going to be lower for towns like ours who may have less of an impact than like a city of New Haven, may have. But we have to just look back through our records, because I think we may have considered that once.
Okay.
But I think if you, Jim and I discuss it offline, we can probably trigger a memory.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay, John, you're set. You can sign off if you want, or you can stay and watch. I don't care.
Okay.
There's no Yankees on, so what else you got to do?
Right.
I know, I'm dying. Believe me, I'm dying.
We're all on.
Okay. Item number 8, to consider and act on the request to approve the firefighter tax abatements on the 219 grand list. You'll see them on that list there.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Very good. Okay. Item number 9. This is an interesting one. When we need a room down in the old firehouse building at the Post Road, and I was in there trying to figure out what on earth they have in there that's taking up so much room. Well, lo and behold, in what is the front of the building, it's now the back of the building, but it was the front of the building when it was a firehouse, is the paver that we have not used since I first got into office. So it hasn't been used in at least 14 years, for 12 to 14 years. And it's been sitting in the back there under cover. So we got, I said to Donnie, why do we have this? Well, we use Tilcon and all now. We haven't used it. Okay. I said, why do we have it in here? I said, this is when guys are looking for this. So we asked around, and he called W.I. Clark, and he got an estimate from them. It's worth about $8,000 as a trade item. So I got wind of a paver that was looking for something like this. So we talked about it. They went down, looked at it. Our new mechanic there, Mr. Raver, got it out and running and all, even though it had sat inside. It has an engine on it and all. And got it running and all. And we got $10,000 offer for it. And, we're not done yet. $10,000 plus if we buy the stone dust for the walk track at High Plains, around the fairgrounds there.
Yeah.
They'll top dress that with this machine to put down new stone dust on the top, a layer on the walk track. And they agreed if we buy the material, they will put in the entry piece for that emergency access road from Oakview Road to what I call the stone wall, because that piece I want to be asphalt so we don't track gravel and mud and stone out onto that road. And then when we get to ever move forward with that project, I can't even have a playground committee meeting because of this thing. But anyhow, so I have some extra work out of it besides purchase. And so that's why it's before you to allow us to sell this paver. We're getting a little more than W.I. Clark offered us for it. And plus we're getting some work on top of that.
Grab it.
Motion by Selectman Carangelo, it looks like. Is there a second? Ralph?
Yeah.
Any
Excellent.
questions?
Jim,
Like I said, it's a machine. If anybody wants to know what it is, drive down to the highway department garage over by the salt shed and the sander racks, and it's this big kind of yellowy orange
Wow.
machine that's sitting there by the sander racks. And like I said, it looks pretty good because it's been undercover, but it's kind of old. So
Jim, no
anyhow.
problem with the motion, but we're doing all this stone dust repaving, so to speak. Can we also do the pathway that leads from High Plains back to the town hall and around? Because that really needs it as well.
That would require a whole different thing, because some areas there we have to cut some sod out in some areas. But that I'm hoping if we have a little funding that we can do that. There's some areas that are extremely worn, and some areas that are a little better than others. But I would like to get a coating some stone dust on that as well, Mitch.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll be done by the machine, but we're going to get it done.
Good.
All right, motion made, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Abstain? Okay. That takes care of that. Well, unanimous there, Ian. Pension Board, Selectman Goldblatt.
Yes, the next meeting of the pension board will be Thursday, May 28th. It'll be held virtually.
Okay. Emergency Management, Selectman Novicki.
Thank you. I've been keeping all of you on the board informed of the latest
Thank you.
goings on by the Orange Emergency Management Subcommittee, which is really doing an excellent job. It continues to meet every Friday in a virtual meeting to address really all the issues surrounding COVID in Orange. But I'd like to share a few of the points, most recent points, so that Orange residents are kept informed. Going forward, the main issue that will have to be addressed is the town, and is already being addressed, is the town entering the first phase of reopening, which has been announced by the governor to be on May 20th. So that is a day when a number of different kinds of establishments can reopen. They're all listed on the Connecticut website, State of Connecticut website. It will involve the cooperation and collaboration of the business community in Orange, and in order to facilitate that, the Orange Economic Development Corporation is joining our Emergency Management Subcommittee to do the outreach to the business community. It's already sent a letter to businesses and to get current contact information. And we have to make sure that the businesses know the reopening guidelines and where to get PPE if they need it. They are being told that they have to have a reopening plan and that guidelines must be followed. Of course, there are still some issues to be resolved in terms of who is actually going to sort of police, quote unquote, compliance with those rules and regulations, but that is being looked at as well. The Connecticut Business and Industry Association has funded a PPE program for businesses. It had a list that I don't know how it put together, of 34 businesses that should get PPE. Those have been distributed by emergency management. PPE is going to stop coming from the state, so every town is going to need to develop its own supply chain for PPE if we continue to need it for a prolonged period. The town's clergy has met and continues to meet to discuss when and how to open facilities, religious facilities, in a safe manner, how social distancing could be implemented in the various houses of worship, and whether our population over 65 should be encouraged not to participate or to participate. They're working with the Orange Health Department to come up with guidelines and recommendations on that point. And basically, the last point would be that we will be trying as hard as we can to get clear communications out, because as the town slowly reopens, the citizens and the business community need to be on top of it. They need to know exactly what's going on so that they will support and cooperate with us. And this will also diminish complaints and questions. So with that, I think that's it from me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Excellent, Margaret. I think that's a very good recap. They are working on the biggest one that has people concerned right now, the business people, is the outdoor dining. And so we're going to have a discussion on it. We did have some discussion on it. And lo and behold, the governor sent out revised outdoor dining allowances yesterday, late in the day. And so here's poor Jack Demerjian. He's saying, well, we need an engineer's stamp. We need this. We need that. architect's drawings. I go, "Oop, Jack, read the new, I forget what it was,
That's it.
7mm or something like this." "What do you mean?" I said, "Oh, hot off the presses." So, I mean, things are, while he's trying to plan, things are changing. And so Jack, who's doing zoning, and Brian and Dr. Mohammed are doing health, and Lucian and DeMeo and Ronnie Petrillo doing building. They're trying to plan for what is going, because that's the biggest one. The restaurants really want to all try to figure out how to do a little more business, and the rules are still changing, kind of like the hair salons and some of these things. So it's kind of like, Mitchell, what we talked about earlier with the camp situation. Every day the rules are
They're changing.
popping, and I give Tino and Fred and that whole group accolades for trying to track all of this stuff, because it's a moving target if there ever was. But the restaurants are the biggest one making the push now. I was inundated today by people, some group or association must have put out email lists of salon workers, both barbers and salon workers, who do not wish to be included in the phase one of the reopenings. And they don't think it's safe. It's not this, it's that. The trouble is, I responded to a couple of them, several of them. They were email lists of 99 to 160 were coming at a time. And I said, you know, you have to plan accordingly for this. If you don't feel comfortable or safe with it, don't go to work. But there's others who feel exactly the opposite, who need to make a living, who are going to put on their masks, put on their gloves, put on maybe face shields, whatever, and they're going to work because they need some income. So it's really, it's pitting, it's kind of like a civil war going to happen. They're pitting one against the other. John Carangelo.
You know, I was just thinking as you were speaking, Jim, and you know, I think as the Board of Selectmen does all the time, we always look to what's in the best interests of our businesses and our residents. And, you know, everybody's hurting. And if we can help those businesses that are trying to open up, we got to do whatever we can to do that. The governor's order is changing daily, which doesn't make our jobs any easier. But, you know, as a board and as a town, we need to support our local constituents, our businesses, because people are really hurting. And a lot of these people have done a lot of wonderful things for individuals in this town that don't have food to put on their tables. You know, they've gone beyond the call of duty. So I think if we can at all, let's support our businesses to the best of our abilities under the rules that are out there. But, you know, thank you for giving me an opportunity, Jimmy. That's all. Just thinking about it.
You are correct. And I mean, our community service group, they're doing a great job. They've been delivering through our vendor that provides our daily meals. They're delivering frozen meals on a weekly basis. These big boxes are full of food for our people who use those programs. Denise Stein, Shirley Loomis, Joan, Dennis, Jesse, they're doing a great job down there keeping that going. And we've had some tremendous donations to the food pantry. You know, F&W brought in a load of stuff. I think the Lions brought in a bunch. The Rotary Club made a donation. There's been others, I don't even know them all, but Joan said to me today that they've gotten a whole bunch of stuff for the food pantry there that, you know, that's going extremely well. And, you know, and there's a lot of demand for it. We have quite a few people here in town that are, you know, have been, you know, not working, not necessarily received unemployment yet, some of them. There's quite a few out there that are really in tough shape. Ian had a man call end of last week, young guy. He hasn't been working since this started, and he's been waiting for unemployment for 7 weeks, you know, and had no income at all. And, you know, so, you know, there's people out there, and I've said this right along. The budget that the Board of Finance has formulated for right now is tough. But next year's, I think, is going to be tougher because you're going to get the shakeout of some of this. And our youngest people are okay, and most of our senior population are okay that have pension, Social Security, retirement. It's the middle group that we all fall into, or most of us fall into. Ralph, sorry. That are going to be the group that's impacted the most, because right now, if they're not working and all, they're using plastic, and they're doing deferments on their mortgages. They're going to be doing that. We did that 90-day deferment on the taxes for the residents and all, but sooner or later, that all has to get caught up, and that's the group that I really worry about at this time. It's going to be a tough situation for us to get out of this valley that we're in. And so I keep trying to come up with answers, but some days I sit and I scratch my head and I'm running out of answers different days. As you read the budget, you'll see things where we've cut and trimmed and reduced staffing and combined positions and all. And I think in the town hall side, I think we've cut or combined 4.5 positions for this budget. The Board of Education, I think, is cutting. They asked for 2, plus I think they're removing 2 teachers. Amity, I don't know how many of you responded to that letter everybody received in their mailbox. I did on behalf of the town of Orange. And the board just voted. They took no regard for what people emailed in for commentary and all on that. And the budget went forward and they passed it, and it's a done deal. That in itself is a $300,000 impact increase to the town of Orange. It's $800,000 to Woodbridge. But yeah, so these are the things we have to watch. I mean, it's not that we're running down any group or beating up any other group. It's just a matter of it's going to be some rough go out there. So with that said, do you have any other business? Yes, Ralph.
Can't hear you, Ralph.
Muted.
I lost him.
Ralph, we can't hear you. Where's your phone?
Right here.
Oh, there he is.
Speak up a little. Speak into it.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay.
Get a job with Sprint.
Yep.
Verizon.
That's why I've got Verizon. No, I think, Jim, what you were saying, I think it's been a team effort on the part of all of the town employees and the boards and commissions in town, that we were able to get a budget out with a from what I understand, a very, very tiny increase in the tax. And I follow some of the other towns in the area, and they're in much deeper trouble than we are. I was just reading about Trumbull the other day. Trumbull's getting rid of 24 people are not going to be funded in the next budget, and they're cutting in a lot of ways. But I think the way that we've been going, we've put ourselves in a position where we're not going to have to lay off a number of people or furlough people. So I think it's a testimony to the people in the town offices and the boards and so on, that we've been able to control our costs in a way that we're not affected as much as a lot of the other towns. So I think that's a little shout out to the people running the town.
Good job.
Thank you.
Good job.
Since Ralph brought that up, I have my printed budget in front of me. And if the budget goes through as prescribed by the Board of Finance, the mill rate currently is 32.59, and the new mill rate would be 32.74. So it's a very, very slight increase, but nonetheless, I'm unhappy because it is an increase at a difficult time. But I have to say, we did make cuts both to staff and other areas. So was a very difficult budget to create and very frustrating at times, I guess is the best I can say. So it does have a small increase to it there. But it is what it is, as I've been told I say a lot. Anything else for the Board of Selectmen meeting of May? Selectman Carangelo.
Jimmy, did you mention personnel yet?
We did not have personnel because of what's been going on. Why, John?
Well, because it was number 3 on the agenda. I just wanted
Oh.
to miss it.
Personnel did not meet. I'm truly hoping that we can meet in June is what I'm hoping. I appointed Margaret to personnel, and I think she's been to one meeting.
Only one.
Because
We just want to keep the meeting going, to have contact.
oh God,
The
Hey,
problem is we don't have Jim on camera and can't see how red he is right now.
I
yeah, you're right.
love it.
But anyhow, so those are all
Good
the
job,
things
John.
that I have at this time.
Before you adjourn, you all may have received an email from a constituent, lengthy email about infringement of her rights in light of this pandemic. I know Ralph received one. I believe it's addressed to everyone. I'm going to be responding to it. I'm happy to share it with you, but I'll be responding to it on behalf of the board and the town so that we speak in one voice.
Okay. Thank
Ben,
you.
was this the one from that church?
No. This is Sarah Circle.
Oh, that was a whole nother show.
I didn't get it.
You can
Jim,
share.
All right.
could you copy us all? Because we didn't receive it. Not all of us received it, I guess.
I didn't get it.
I'll send it out when I'm done with the meeting. I'll send it out to all you.
Or Vin-
We also, what, Ben?
I said, just refrain. The group should not respond to each other.
Correct.
Yeah, do not.
Right.
Yeah, do not put things in email on it. Yeah,
Right.
we'll just leave it at that. How's that? Okay. Yeah, we also had somebody from a church complaining that we took their rights away, and I was told that I was cavalier, and not really. I was just reading the executive order, and I did
respond.
tell the people that prayer is not necessarily held by the structure that it's in. You can have
Right.
prayer wherever you are. So that wasn't received well either. But that's how I felt. So with that said, is there a motion to adjourn?
So motion.
Okay,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Hey,
All right. All right. I look forward to seeing everybody in person in June. We will figure out how to space out downstairs, even if we have to put a couple extra tables up or something. So
All right.
you can bring
Well, everybody.
snacks and slippers. All right. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Aye.